Guys, super quick interruption from the important video that you're watching, just to say thanks for watching the channel, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. If you want to really support us, the best way to do that is through 1911 Syndicate. We're actually a real estate company behind all of this weird chaos that we do. So we operate in Utah, Arizona, and different parts of Texas, Florida, California, pretty much wherever you are, just let us know. We're basically working on expanding nationwide. So if you're somewhere and you need to buy, sell a house, whatever the case may be, or just see, hey, is it even an option? Hit us up. We'll have our website linked below. You can go check in there, hit us up. We'll respond to you.
Yep. Video number 3.
Video number
of this
3,
series.
Which would be the finale. This is the big finale where a lot of crazy shit happens in the finale. So in the finale, we are going to have our final 2 companies, which would be Magpul, which many of you, well, I certainly hope you know. Otherwise,
What Rocky you been living
how'd you miss that one? And then we've got Frank Proctor.
We referenced him in episode 1.
Yeah, when I was like, we have something by a guy named Frank.
Frank.
I will say I'm a big fan of, I've never trained with Frank, but a big fan and excited to have a sling.
Legend.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Absolute legend.
So in the full disclosure spirit, Magpul sent me this sling. I reached out to them. I was like, hey, we're planning this thing. Any chance I can get a sling for it? They're like, yeah, happy to help. So that's where this sling came from. I've got 2 other Magpul slings that I've had for years that I bought, but they were cool enough to send me this. I'm pretty sure you bought that.
I have 4 of these.
Oh, damn. Chris like collects sling. Oh, he's got some weird thing. He collects.
No, it's always been something on my brain to like find the best one that I like the most, and
here you are.
And here I am doing a video on it X amount of years into this, which
Crazy.
is why I got a drawer full of slings. But
yeah. So I think what we'll do, we'll kick it off with Magpul, then we'll go to Proctor, and then we'll all go home, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your week or whatever day this comes out. Do your thing. Enjoy your night, however it goes. So. First things first, Magpul, obviously very well-established brand in terms of, hey, the sizes of the different companies that we've been reviewing. Magpul's probably the biggest company. Blue Force Gear probably second on that tier. Now, if I just started if I just kicked up some shit and Blue Force Gear is like, we're bigger, like, I don't know, guys.
Didn't mean it that way.
I'm gonna guess Magpul's probably the biggest of the sling companies that we've been reviewing here. The one that I have, they have a lot of different models. The one that I have is the MS4, which has QDMs, and we will go through those. It's convertible. It is to give you a little sense of this. So right now I have it set a little bit different than I have my other guns set up. So I'm running it right now as a 2-point. I'm running it from basically the base of my handguard to the base of my receiver. So I'm running a 2-point. The effect of this is the gun cants a little and it doesn't hang quite as like kind of neutral. This is the sling all the way tightened down. To be perfectly honest, as I've run this, I've thought like, man, I might run more 2-points like this. I'm actually quite a fan if I'm being honest. So
it really hugs it to your body if it's set up right.
I like it. I like it, and honestly, getting that shouldered all the way tight is not a problem. Like I've debated switching out more guns to this, but that was the point of the series. Basically R&D, and here's our findings. So anyway, I'm a fan of this. Take that for what it's worth. Basically near the base of the handguard to the back of the receiver. The MS4 basically will unclip, and the way that I have it set up, given that I might run it as a 1-point. Clips in there, and I'm very nicely set up in a 1-point configuration at that point. So basically that is how the 2 to 1-point goes. The slider, you'll notice, is a little different from everyone else. There's nothing to grab or cinch onto. It's really just a simple slider, and we'll get into kind of pros, cons, stuff like that. But that is the basic layout of this sling. It's non-padded. We'll go 2 to 1. That's your slider. You want to Proctor it up? Actually, no, let's just keep going down Magpul and then we'll switch to Proctor. Okay. Give it its proper moment.
They're really in the same ballpark, to be perfectly honest.
There's some similar, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that statement yet. I don't know how I feel about what you just said, so we'll come back to that. So first things first, let's address QDMs. I fucking hate them. I can't stand QDMs. Not a fan at all. For those of you who are like, what is that? So tell me how, can you see this? Man with the camera, nod if you can see this. Cool. So that's a QDM. Now the difference between a standard QDs, you would push the button at the back of the, so there'd be a little button right here. You push that and then you clip in. These are totally different. It's basically a little sliding notch. It's like a little slider that's right here. It's gonna be tough to see, but basically you've got to push up on these little sliders, and that's what's gonna make it go in. Right here, right now, pushing that in is very simple. Now, the problem with that, the base of the receiver, it's a nightmare.
And with gloves,
with
even
gloves,
more so.
It's a nightmare. At the base of the receiver, it's a nightmare because I mean, I'm not gonna flub this, okay? I'm gonna legit try to, because all this is in the way, your buffer tube's in the way. I mean, this is, and because it doesn't, I mean, legit, I gotta go 2 hands on this thing to get it off. It's a real pain in the ass. Okay, QDMs, I can't, I know there's a reason, I just don't know, back up. I don't know why, I'm still talking in everyone's face.
Well, I was gonna bring up a standard QD
Sure.
to show that it's a top button. Very easy, thumb, finger, pinky, penis, whatever you need.
I tuned out for a second because Finn was peeing on a bush, and I tuned back in, and I don't know what the hell Chris was talking about.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway, send your hate mail to Chris's, like, not mine. I'm the hero, he's the villain of the series.
No,
QDMs,
that's Jeff.
not a fan of QDMs. There's just no way to put that. Now, the reality is you're not locked into using a Magpul with QDM. You can get regular QD. They have an MS1 that you're gonna have the option for padding on, which you're not gonna have with this MS4. It's just gonna run slick. MS1 you can do padding, and it's gonna be open-ended. So if you wanted to run regular QDs or snap hooks or anything else, or just like direct attached to your gun or whatever it is, you can do that. So you're not locked into this. This is the platform that I have right now, and I'm just here to tell you I don't like QDMs at all. Despite that, I actually like, very much like almost everything about this sling. Let me just kind of, you know, stick to a relative structure here. So price for me would actually be in a pros category, which is gonna be $80 for the configuration that you're seeing here. So in terms of cost effective, probably the most, actually, that will probably actually be less from memory, I've got it written down. But in terms of like, hey, a QD capable sling that will go from 2-point to 1-point, $80 is actually a really good price. Okay, so these guys do win on price. I think it's a very fair price for this sling. If you wanted just this sling with regular QDs, $60. Okay, so I'm telling you that because, again, you know, even like in the last video, we're like, hey, Slide Tactical, this is a company that we do have an affiliation with now. I will tell you, hey, that's going to be on the highest end, and something like a Magpul with just some standard QDs at $60, really good bang for your buck, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to keep shooting you guys straight on that. So they do have a proprietary nylon. It is made in Europe, so that would be, I don't consider it a pro or con. I think for some people who are gonna go gung-ho, like if it's not American made, I don't want it, they're gonna say, well, this is DQ'd because the nylon is coming from Europe. I will tell you, in regards to the nylon, it's very comfortable. It's different than some of the rougher ones like Blue Force Gear, Faro Concepts. It's gonna be not as soft as something like the Class 1 nylon that's on the slides, but it's gonna be very comfortable. I quite like it. They do, I believe, yeah, so the nylon does have that same treatment on it that's gonna protect it better under you know, infrared detection. So again, if you're trying to maintain real low pro in a, you know, night environment, low light, no light kind of thing, this is going to hold up pretty well on that. Cool feature, and again, with the company does a lot of stuff within the military world.
Makes sense.
It makes sense, and it's a good feature. I will tell you this. Bar none has my favorite system for converting from a 2-point to a single point. And the reason I say
that thing is sweet
is because the single point attachment is dual. Basically, on both sides of the single point, you can clip in. So are you a lefty, or you got anything weird going on like that? Not a problem. If you're a righty, right? So basically, you take that QDM out, push it in. I mean, it is a very simple, very intuitive, 2-to-1 point conversion, and it's ambidextrous, right? So it's like, hey, you never have to flip this thing around. This thing is good, and I think it is, without question, my favorite version of a 2-to-1 point conversion for QDs. I only say that because the snap hooks it's just going to be a different system.
Yeah.
But in terms of the QD, my favorite system there. The slider, I like very, very much. Well, I would say there's pros and cons of it. I like it very much in terms of it's very intuitive. It's very, you know, you loosen going up, you tighten going down. It's very smooth. I like it a lot. I guess the pro would be, hey, look, no snag hazard at all. Like there's zero snag. This sling in general, in terms of snag hazard,
minus this,
probably minus that is the lowest. I mean, there is nothing that's going to get caught on anything minus fluke, you know, freak accident kind of things. But the slider is not going to be a snag hazard at all. I guess the con, if you were going to spin that, would be because there's nothing protruding to grab onto, right? Like the, you know, like the tabs on the other ones, or like the Faro Concepts with the little pull tab and everything. Because there's nothing to grab onto, you're going to have to be a little bit more tactile with feeling where that is and making your adjustments. Again, as previously discussed, you could basically, hey, look, go from where you grab your gun, which is probably going to be relatively close to where your sling is, and just start moving your hand up. You're going to find it, you know. So for me, it's not a problem.
It's a square piece of plastic too.
Square piece of plastic, like literally, like, okay, look in the other direction, cool, yeah, easy, you know. Like, it's not like how effective that was. Look the other direction, and like, you know, it's I'm a fan. I like it. I like the slider. Can't talk anything bad about that. No snag hazards. I'm a fan. We did talk about, hey, if you want to run clips or anything, they do have some options there. One thing, and this is a bit of a niche observation.
Paper stuff.
Well, it's wind. Wind is the problem. So if you were running 2-point from the base of your receiver, okay, so if you're running a gun, 1 point up here, 2nd point back here. If you have, and I'd never realized this, so I started playing around with what slings do I want on which guns. If you have padding, especially if that padding is fairly stiff, what you're going to run into is that padding's probably going to wind up about here. And when you bring this gun to your face, that padding kind of slaps you right in the face. And so for running this system, this Magpul sling is actually perfect. And or I would recommend run a sling that does not have a pad here, because really when you bring this up, I have nothing impeding that cheek weld. When you have a pad, you know, it's just not comfortable. Again, is comfort the main priority? No, it's like going home at the end of the day, but still, like, why be uncomfortable if something like this can be a little bit more comfortable? Yeah. Very niche. It really applies to if you're running your 2-point from the base of your receiver, but cool little point.
Which, you know, getting back to nylon made in Europe and stuff, same people that worry about that are wearing like Nikes that are made in Vietnam, and you know, like, it's very hard to get 100% American made stuff. I try to do it, it doesn't always happen, right? Yeah. Just a little caveat, which the Faro is designed in Canada but made here. Yeah. Which Canada, it's basically yeah, it says it right on the sling. Designed in Canada. Yep, designed right there. Designed in Canada, made in USA.
I think it's the Canadians are proud that they've got something. I like Canada. I'm just like, I'm excited you guys do have a design, and
part of America, kind of. So
it's our northerly brother there.
Minus Trudeau, but
won't go down that rabbit hole today, yeah. Right? I guess one con would be, hey, look, this really comes in black and tan, so you got a couple color.
You got a stroke. It's okay.
Couple color options. So, hey, be aware, you know, not really a pro or con, just, hey, just know limited color options there. Availability, fortunately, it's a big company, so you will find these somewhere. Magpul site, at least in these Corona times that we find ourselves in, are pretty well sold out of most things. So, you know, just different considerations. But look, overall, it's a sling that I actually very much like, and that makes me happy because, again, sometimes on the bigger players, you know, you just get stuff that's a little more mainstream. They're trying to appeal to a wide audience. But for me, I'm like, look, good sling. Good sling. I like it. I hate the QDMs. That's really my only critique, though.
Cool. And for the most part, I'm just going to take this off. I'm not going to really demo it too much because really it functions the same way. Yeah. There's a slider. I'm going to take it off so we can zoom in on, what would you call, the accessories that Frank uses to attach this to the rifle are super unique. No other kind of rifle sling does it like he does.
With the Proctor Sling, what you're getting is ultra minimalism. Okay, like that's the theme of the whole thing. If you were looking at other slings and you're like, I like it, it's just too bulky, and I'm trying to go super low pro, meet Frank Proctor Sling.
Which that is his whole philosophy behind everything, is as minimal as you can get. And for him, if you don't know who Frank is, former Green Beret,
Incredible shooter.
I've never seen someone shoot like he can. Again, I haven't trained with him yet.
I've talked to people who've trained with Frank, and they're like, he's the best guy I've ever seen run a gun. Like, he'll pick up a gun that he's never shot, and he'll run like a, you know, second bill drill or whatever, and people are just like, what? You never even shot that gun? Like, big fan of Frank. Would love to train with Frank at some point.
I've seen him run a 10 mil Glock in a video the same way we'd run like a 380.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. He's pretty impressive,
Stud.
but super ultra minimal. I mean, it comes in a small Ziploc bag rolled up. Pro to this is I'd throw this in like an emergency bag.
Show that up close.
Pro to this is I'd throw this in like an emergency bug out bag, because it just rolls up into a little package, right? The cool thing with this too is this will run on a hunting rifle, on an AR, on a sub gun, everything. Because there's no QD, no snap hooks, no nothing.
No mounting hardware.
You loop it through itself, tighten it down, and then he heat shrinks all the parts. And then this little slider here is how you really tighten it down to whatever it's mounted to. So pretty cool, pretty unique, ultra minimal. The slider on it is very similar to the Magpul. It's about, you know, a quarter the size.
It's basic.
It's just a piece of plastic that you pull and push, and that's it. These come in black, tan, green.
I think they have, they do have some multicam options.
Oh, okay, cool.
I did write it down.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, 44 bucks.
44
So,
bucks.
I mean, if you were going, here's where I would be, you know, one point I would make on that. If you said, hey, look, all this stuff is cool, but like, I want to be able to run the same sling on every gun, and just like, you know, if you didn't want to put in much effort, there you go, man. I mean, like, you don't need shit. You don't need like M-lock attachments and snap hook shit and everything. Like, if you're trying to go simple, you really can't beat it.
Which you could throw a QD on there and tighten it down if you wanted to.
Sure, yeah. You could.
You'd loop it through, tighten it down, and you could, but the point of this is ultra low profile, snag free.
1 inch wide, so it's like, again, you know, that's gonna be thinner, you know, or less wide than the actual material. And, you know, I don't know, but this is, I'm gonna guess, it's definitely not an inch. It's probably closer to
Inch and a quarter.
inch and a quarter. Yeah, which again, we're talking about a quarter inch, nothing major, but again, if you're trying to go super low profile, you got your winner here.
Yeah.
Sliders, very simple. I mean, it's just basic. It's very well thought through.
Yeah.
But
Not
it's
in a negative
incredibly
way.
basic.
Yeah.
No. I mean it as a compliment, actually.
And I mean, again, Frank, that is Frank's MO, as minimal as possible. His weapon mounted lights that are single, I mean, they're this big. They're tiny, push button, snag free, good to go.
2.4 ounces.
Yeah.
So to put it in perspective on how light that damn thing is. I mean, 2.4 ounces is nothing, you know? I mean, it's pretty crazy, you know? And like I said, you don't need any hardware, any of that kind of stuff. Now, flipping over to the other side of the sheet here, let's see what we do have. Not to mention, a pro for me, I like supporting smaller companies. Like, if it's ever an option where like, hey, you got this big behemoth and then you've got this smaller company, but they make good shit, like they actually make quality product. I do like supporting little guys. Not calling Frank a little guy, but you know, like, and compared to Magpul, like Frank's a, you know, like it's a small player, you know. You get where I'm going with it.
Yeah,
You guys get where I'm going.
It's not a
with
dig,
that.
Frank. Please, we want to train with you.
Don't kick
Not a
me
dig.
out of your classes,
Yeah.
Frank. I want to come and shoot.
We need to do that.
Yeah. Now, I would say in terms of the cons list, as we're trying to do to be fair to each sling, if you said, look, I need something super robust, like heavy duty, heavy used, I'm not saying that's going to fail you, but I think it's the most likely probably to fail you.
How so?
You just gotta, I mean, like, it's just less thick, robust materials.
Okay.
And again, I'm projecting, I'm sure it's been through torture testing and done fine. I'm just saying, like, hey, you know, there's 550 cord and stuff, obviously tough, probably gonna, if that catches a snag or something, look, it's simply less material there.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna probably wear through faster. It is a dedicated 2-point. It's not a convertible to a single point. So if you needed to run single, you could no doubt find some mounting solutions to outfit that.
Yeah.
With a, like, even like the Faro Concepts one, they have It's just a little
Or
slider.
loop it back on itself.
Yeah, you could outfit that to be a single point, but in terms of like a quick detach, taking it as it comes from 2 to 1, not an option. No. I would say comfort on long range days, not going to be the most comfortable.
Nope.
Yeah, again, you're trading comfort, robustness for minimalism. You know, so like only you can decide, hey, is that trade-off acceptable for me, or is it not acceptable to me? I would say another consideration is, hey, in terms of attaching it to the front of your gun, if you got a lot of shit on your gun when you get that sling, you're gonna have a little bit of a field day with it, because you're probably gonna have to take some shit off in order to really get that cinched up.
And then put this on, and then put your shit back on.
Right, so really that thing is permanently, if you have something like this, which is not a lot of shit, but it's probably what most of us have, which is, hey, you might have some sort of hand stop vertical grip, you probably got a light, maybe you got an iron sight, maybe a pressure pad. I feel like it's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people would run a setup similar to this. Just know that I'm gonna have to take some shit off. You know, so just know that. Is that a problem? I don't think it's a problem. It's just a consideration,
Yeah.
you know? Not padded, so again, that kind of goes on the comfort side. If you're like, oh, you know, I want something that's a little bit more comfortable, hey, just know if that's not coming with a pad, you can probably find aftermarket stuff to add to it, but it's not gonna come out of the gates like that. But yeah, my overall thoughts on it are probably similar to yours. Of the 6 different companies that we've covered, this was the last one that I really began to play with and experiment, because I was kind of reluctant to it, because we had so much like kind of Gucci stuff and everything that I almost like pushed that to the side. I was like, well, that's gonna be the one that's gonna like, you know. And when I started playing with it, I was like, dude, this thing is cool. Like, it's really cool. Like, I'm a fan. Like, I would have 100. That's Chris's Sling. I don't own one of those, but like, I'd 100% buy one. Yeah. For the right rifle and the right scenarios and everything. I would 100% buy one of those. And again, at probably $50 shipped, killer. You know. So I mean, you're looking at your most economical, your second most economical. You know, and then it just kind of tears around that 100 mark after that for pretty much everything else. You know. So I mean, I guess series finale, final notes here. I mean, I don't think we tested anything that, you know, we tested a bunch of good stuff. You know, and there was stuff that people suggested, like, oh, you should do this, that, and I was like, honestly, like, I can tell you, I already don't think that's a quality product, because you can kind of, you know, at some point you play with enough gear, you can kind of tell, like, look, telling you that's not going to be a good thing. Yeah. And I'm not out to, as are you, not out to, you know, trash anything and do anything like that. So we try to bring you 6 different slings that are very high quality. This concept of doing series where we have multiple companies featured on the same concept of a product is something we're going to be doing next month. You should see a series like this on EDC bags where you can carry some sort of shoulder-fired weapon, so some sort of short-barrel rifle or subgun, flux defense brace, something like that.
And why are we doing that?
Well, you're doing that because the world is in absolute fucking chaos, and for a lot of people, especially depending on your environment, walking around in and out of office buildings, active shooters, all kinds of stuff like that. Hey, look, if you could have a discreet low-pro bag that does not scream, there's a rifle in this, but you could have some good firepower in there for shit hits the fan. I think that's on a lot of people's minds right now.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, I think it's on a lot of people's minds going, man, I gotta up my EDC game, is what it comes down to.
The great thing with this series that we just did here, and we'll get into our favorites here in a second if you want, is I would use every single one of these slings.
Yes.
There's not one of the slings here that I'd be like, yeah, I'd never ever use that.
No.
I'd use all these. For me, the clear winner. And again, full disclosure, this is not because we're affiliated with them or anything. I genuinely think it's a better sling that I've run so far is the Sly.
Well, we are affiliated with them, but we're affiliated them because we really fell in love with their product.
Correct.
And then decided to, hey, Finn, can you come over? Finn, can you come over here away from the fucking camera, please?
Some people's kids, man.
Fucking the youth, you know?
But again,
well, we are affiliated, but we're affiliated because we really love their product.
I like the
and then
product.
we were like, hey, how do we make something happen here? We like your guys' shit, and I can tell you I'm already going to sell some, so like, what do we got? But I agree, there's no loser. All these guns, as you've seen them outfitted, these slings will stay on this gun. Like, this gun will stay with this Magpul in it, because I like it, you know? So take that for what it's worth. I don't really know that we got anything else.
And we, you know, for all the Arizona people, I get a lot of people, just want to give a shout out. Thanks for coming in Pistol Parlor. They take care of us, they take care of me. They've opened their arms, and We carry every one of these slings there besides the Pharaoh and the Frank. Other than that, we carry all these slings. We just placed the order with Slide Tactical. We got a bunch of their slings coming. So if you guys are interested in the shop, swing by. I'll show you kind of pros and cons to it. But as far as my favorite, it's the Sly, man.
Yeah, it's good shit.
I'm happy with it. I'm outfitting all my rifles with that. So
I guess
kind of cool.
For the people at home, thanks for coming on this journey with us. It's been real. You probably have way more information on slings than you ever desired. There's no
But it's
loser.
just not covered.
It's really not covered, and that was the point. Is like, man, it's really an essential piece of kit that most people don't really focus on. And if you think a sling's a sling, I can tell you it's not. Like, there's a lot of nuance in there. So
yeah.
Anyway, we hope it's been helpful. We'll shut up and we'll get the hell out of here. But
go get some chicken.
Yeah, go get the Lord's chicken. It's Saturday, so we can. But anyway, thanks for watching, and chime in on the comments, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.